Welcome back. This is Laptop Hound, and you are watching Simulation Gaming Digital Realities on YouTube. It's been a while since I've made a specific YouTube video for OOTP, but I did get a couple people asking me, hey, Lap, can you do an update on your Ace of Bronze, Ace of Iron tournaments? How are you doing in those tournaments? Because about 5 months ago, I made a couple videos, one for the Ace of Iron and one for the Ace of Bronze. But that was 4 or 5 months ago. It's time to kind of do an update and find out which players are kind of the meta players and how I'm doing currently in those tournaments. If you are new to OOTP, OOTP is the best simulation baseball game on the market. And there is a perfect team edition where you can build your own team and compete against real live managers to try and win packs. And in those packs, you might get cards which improve your team for league play. As you can see in this tournament here, I am going to go through 5 different recent tournaments where I have placed and won packs and show you how the lineup has performed in each of those tournaments. So here I made the finals. I won in 5 games in the finals, did extremely well in the semis, in the quarterfinals. Let's take a look at the makeup of my current Ace of Bronze team. Feel free to use it, to tweak it, and let me know in the comments if you win packs based on some of the advice that I give you in this video here. All right, let's take a look first of all at the Blue Jay pitching staff for Ace of Bronze. And remember, anytime new cards are introduced, especially the bronze cards, you may need to tweak your lineup and put in some of these new cards because they will give you that little extra boost to perform better over other teams that may not be tweaking their lineup. So here you see on my team as of December the 12th, we have Harry Howell, who didn't do too well this tournament. He had over 8 ERA. We've got Howell is a Platinum 2 card, which you can't get in packs anymore. So if you want to use a Harry Howell, you're going to have to get him off the card shop. I also have Steve Trachsel. Steve Trachsel is a new card in the game, a 67 rated Platinum 4 card. And he had a good tournament. He went 2-0. I have Larry Christensen, who I've used, I think in the first tutorial, you saw Larry Christensen, so I still use him. My 4th pitcher is Aaron Harang, another old-time card that I continue to use and get good results with. And my number 5 starter, New Wilson Alvarez, again a Platinum 4 card. So these are the 5 starters that I find over time perform well consistency wise. Again, they're going to have bad tournaments. They're going to lose games. They're going to change how they pitch from tournament to tournament. But over a period of 8 to 10 to 12 tournaments, you should see good, consistent results. That is my starting pitching staff. In the bullpen, I do have some new cards as well as some old-time favorites. Tom Sturdivant, one of my closers, a Platinum 1 card, 4 saves, went 3-0 in this tournament. And again, if you want to use a Tom Sturdivant, you're going to have to get him off the card shop. And they're not going to be too cheap. This one going for about 300 perfect points because it has not been in packs for about 3 or 4 months now. My second stopper is a newer card, Clay Bryant. Clay Bryant went 1-0 in this tournament, had a 3.38 ERA. And again, you cannot get him in packs anymore. You'd have to get him off the card shop. My middle relievers, I have Greg Harris, a new card, who didn't do too well. He had one win, but an ERA over 7. And again, you can pull him in packs for a few more weeks. Mike Gonzalez, a Platinum 4 card, another new card. He went 2-0 and had a 1.8 ERA. Again, another great pitcher to swap into your lineup to replace some of those older cards that might not be performing as well. Jim Constantini, Platinum 4, a new card. He went 1-0 with an ERA of 2.08. And then a couple old reliable cards. Knapp Rucker, 281 ERA, went 2-0 in this tournament. And finally, we've got Slim Love, who I've used almost since the beginning. He went 1-0 with a .75 ERA. So again, you can mix and match these players. You can move them a little bit in the lineup to different positions. Some of your relievers here could be starters. Some of your starters could become relievers. But in this tournament, which I won in 5 games, my pitching staff, other than Harang and Howell, did extremely well. All right, let's go and take a look at the hitters that I use. Again, a mix of some older players that you saw in the first tutorial and some of the newer players. I use a lot of power guys. Guys that can hit the home runs, guys that can really smash the ball. But let's go through the lineup. My 2 catchers, I have Sandy Alomar Jr. In this tournament, he hit .321. Again, a Platinum 3 card, which if you want to use, you're going to have to get on the card shop. And my second catcher is a new card, Jocko Milligan, 68 bronze, and he hit .362 in this tournament with 17 hits, 9 runs, and 13 RBIs. So I'm really happy with my catching combo that I use in bronze tournaments. My first baseman, I have Bob Hamlin. He didn't do too well in this tournament, only hitting .227, but he did have 17 hits and 4 home runs. He's a guy that, again, over time will perform really consistently, just didn't do extremely well in this tournament. Don Bulford, one of my 2 second basemen, he hit .298, strong tournament, 17 hits. And again, he does hit a little bit better against the lefties than against the righties. My other second baseman, Johnny Ray. Look at all that blue. A new card, Platinum 4. He hit .265, 13 hits in this tournament, and a couple home runs. Card I recommend that you add as part of your second base lineup. Third base, I have old, reliable Chipper Jones, who's been in my bronze tournaments right from the beginning. He hit .333. He's usually reliable, especially against the right-handed pitchers, and I compliment him with Juan Moncada. Juan Moncada hit .375 this tournament. Outstanding. He is going to strike out a fair bit because of his weak eye, but if you want him on the card shop, you're going to pay close to 400 perfect points for him. Very popular card for bronze tournaments. So Juan Moncada is a guy that you want to make sure you pay up for him. He was MVP of round 2, and he was also MVP of round 1 for my team in this tournament. Shortstop, I've got a couple. Al Bridwell, 69, new card, only hit .192, but your shortstops aren't they're not there to hit. They're there for defense. And Al Bridwell typically does well for me at shortstop. He can bunt for a hit, got decent speed, and he goes really well with Ozzie Smith. Another Platinum 1 card, only hit .185, but again, he's more there for that reliable defense, and can give you a little bit of speed. The outfield is where I create most of my runs. Chris Davis is a newer card. It's only been around for about 3 weeks, but look at that power, especially against the righties. He had 29 hits in this tournament, 10 home runs, 21 RBIs, outstanding 345 average for a power guy, and was MVP in one of the rounds. And he's cheap. On the card shop, you can get him for under 100 perfect points. A must-have for your outfield. Henry Kimbrough is the guy I use for utility. Sometimes I swap in Amos Otis or Henry Kimbrough. Can play all 3 outfield positions. Hit a 286 in this tournament. Good guy to have. Robin Yount I use in center field. 370 average in this tournament. But again, because you can't get him in packs anymore, you're going to have to pay up over 300 perfect points to get a Robin Yount card. 11 RBIs, 27 hits, and 5 home runs in this tournament here. And then I have in right field Kevin Bass, a new card who I use against lefties. He had a 345 average, 19 hits, 14 runs, and 6 home runs. And my favorite hitting card is Mr. Rob Deere. Rob Deere, again, Kevin Bass, if you want to get him in your lineup, he's a little bit pricey, but at least you can still pull him in packs. Rob Deere is a Platinum 3 card, no longer in packs, so you'd have to get him off the card shop. You'll notice that he hit 362 in this tournament, including 12 home runs, 26 RBIs, and on the card shop, you can pick him up for just over 300 perfect points. But well worth it. He is going to smash the ball for you and was MVP for me in one of the rounds in this tournament. So there you go. That is the lineup that I use. Again, some I only use against the righties, some against the lefties. All right, let's head over to another recent tournament. Again, all these tournaments were within the last week and all that I've placed in. This one here, I finished in 4th place. So I lost in the semifinals, 4-3. You can't quite see it. It's right underneath the Ace of Bronze Tourney tab there at the bottom. But I did lose this in the 7th game. But I still earned 3 packs because in a 32-team tournament, as long as you finish in the top 4, you will win some packs. You can see the same pitching rotation. Harry Howell, another awful tournament, 9.85 ERA, but it's going to happen. As long as he's not pitching over a 7 ERA in 8 tournaments in a row. If that's happening, you want to swap him out. Steve Trachsel, not a great tournament, 675. Larry Christensen, 467. And then Aaron Harang had a good tournament, 262. And Wilson Alvarez, a 171. Bullpen-wise, all did worse, lower than average, other than my 2 stoppers, Gonzalez and Constantini. Greg Harris didn't really pitch well out of the pen. But again, that is going to happen from time to time when you play a lot of tournaments. And if we check out the hitters, you'll see a lot of the same patterns that I showed you in the first tournament. We have 6 or 7 guys that hit over 300. Kevin Bass, 303. Robin Yount hit 321. Henry Kimbrough, off the bench, hit 346. Rob Deere again, 8 home runs, 18 RBIs. And Bob Hamlin, little better tournament this time, 246. But he had 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. Juan Mancata, here he is again, an MVP in 2 of the rounds, just like that first tournament. And he hit 368. So Juan Mancata is a card that you should be paying up for, even if you have to pay 400 or 500 perfect points. Get him in your lineup. I use him as my leadoff hitter, and 9 times out of 10, he ends up with an average over 300. All right, let's head over to the third tournament. Again, a tournament that I won in 5 games, and I did extremely well, winning the semifinals in 4 and also sweeping the quarterfinals in 4 games. So sometimes it's just a matter of getting out of that first round. Don't worry if you lose in the first round 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row. As long as you are swapping players in and out from time to time, looking at which players are doing the best, you will get your packs. Look at this one. Harry Howell, 340, went 4-2. So I hung with him. I didn't get rid of him after a couple bad tournaments, and now he's showing how well he can pitch. Steve Trachsel, 3-0. Larry Christensen, 4-0. Harang, 3-1. And Wilson Alvarez, 2-0. So the starting pitching rotation in this tournament that I won dominated, only with 3 losses. And even in the bullpen, other than Clay Bryant with an ERA over 6, all my bullpen guys had ERAs under 4, including 180 from Greg Harris, who didn't pitch too well in the first 2 tournaments that I showed you. So give them time. They are good cards. Gonzalez didn't give up a run, 0 ERA. He's going to have his good tournaments. He's going to have his bad ones. But overall, he's going to perform consistent enough to stay in your lineup. So let's go and take a look at the hitters in this tournament. Again, I won in 5 games. A lot of the same players: Juan Mancata, Rob Deere, Chris Davis, and pitchers again, same ones that I've showed you in previous tournaments. Here we had Juan Mancata hit 400, Kevin Bass 302, 338 for Robin Yount, and 9 home runs for Deere, 9 for Chris Davis, and 7 for Bob Hamlin. Those 3 guys are going to be your consistent power guys. All right, tournament number 4. Here is another tournament that I swept the finals. I also won in 5 games in the semis and 5 games in the quarterfinals. So the Blue Jays, once they got past the first couple of rounds, it took them 7 games, dominated. And that's going to happen. The toughest rounds are always the first couple. Get by those and your players somehow will settle in and hopefully get you some packs. So let's take a look at the pitching rotation and how they did sweeping the finals in this tournament here. Harry Howell, 295. 4-0. So he had 2 bad tournaments and 2 good tournaments. Steve Trachsel, 2-1. Larry Christensen, 3-0. And then Harang and Alvarez, even though Harang went 2-0, he had a 7.99 ERA. Bullpen-wise, again, nothing really extraordinary other than Clay Bryant. Looking at our hitters, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players hitting over 300, including Kevin Bass, Rob Deere, 31 RBIs, 13 home runs, Chris Davis, 9 home runs, Bob Hamlin, 10 home runs. There you go. Those are your 3 power guys. Get them in the lineup, surround them with a Yount, a Kevin Bass, a Juan Mancata who hit 375, and you are going to consistently be able to earn packs. Here we have Moan Moncada, again, MVP twice. That's 3 tournaments I've shown you where he has been MVP in 2 of the rounds. And you would think that this would be a card everyone would have. But when I search Juan Moncada in this tournament, there are only 9 of them that are owned. 9 of the 32 teams. Again, it is a must-have card. If you're not using Juan Moncada, get him, put him at the top of your lineup, and let him do the rest. And the 5th tournament that I want to show you, again, same lineup. This tournament here, the Blue Jays, my team, finished 2nd. We lost the finals in 7 games. We swept the semis and we won the quarterfinals in 5. So in almost every tournament that I've shown you, we struggled early, then we caught our groove, and in many cases went all the way to the finals. Harry Howell, 4-2. Steve Trachsel, 3-1. Larry Christensen, 4-1. And Aaron Harang, 4-1. So pitching was fine. In the bullpen, our stoppers this time struggled a little bit, but our middle relievers, Greg Harris, a 1.96 ERA. Again, a guy that is going to do better more often than not. New card, go out and get him on the card shop, or maybe you've pulled him in a pack. And this is a rotation that I'm pretty happy with. Hitting wise, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players who went over 300. Rob Deere, 14 home runs, 28 RBIs. Outstanding. Who else? Chris Davis, 8 home runs, 19 RBIs. And Bob Hamlin had an off tournament, only 2 home runs this time. But again, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be your big power hitters. All right, let's finish off this episode by looking at one tournament that we didn't place. Here's a tournament that we lost out in the first round. We lost out in 5 games. Again, that is going to happen 7 times out of 10. You're not going to win anything. But 3 times out of 10, you'll get some packs if you use a very similar lineup. Again, the statistics don't really show a lot because it was only 5 games that we lasted in this tournament. So just ignore the ERA. Didn't play enough games to truly show the worth of those players. And even with our winning team, we can look and we see they have Larry Christensen, Wilson Alvarez, Harry Howell. So they've got 3 of the same 5 starting pitchers that we have. In the bullpen, they've got Greg Harris, they've got Wayne Twitchell. So they have some of the same relievers that I use as well. If we go and we look at the hitters of the team that won this tournament, we should see some similarities, but some differences. They've got Rob Deere. He hit 2 home runs. They have Henry Kimbrough, who had a 202 average. And they have Chipper Jones, who had a 272 average. All the other players are different. As I said before, there is no one winning formula. You can have a variety of different players and still win a tournament. But the players I use, I find, are more consistent. I do like some of the players that South End Seasiders has. I do like Wes Covington, another power guy. In this tournament, he had 16 RBIs. And I do like Frank Mantilla and Frank Warfield at second base. Reliable second baseman. So find players, test them out, use some of the ones that I use, Look at past results of your tournaments to see which players do better than others, and look at those leaderboards. Here's a card I will probably put in my lineup soon. Wes Covington, look at that power. But again, that means taking out one of my current outfielders. And I like my current outfielders. I like Rob Deere. I like, who else do I have? Chris Davis. I like Kevin Bass. And I like Robin Yount. So if I do take someone out, it'll probably be Henry Kimbrough. But I like him because he can play all three outfield positions. So right now, don't have Wes Covington in the lineup. And there you have it. As we leave today, just showing you a tournament that is currently going on that I'm involved in. And I am in the quarterfinals right now with a 3-2 lead over my competition. So if I can win one of the next 2 games, I will be guaranteed at least 3 packs in this tournament. Again, using the exact same lineup that I showed you in all previous tournaments in this video. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this updated Ace of Bronze tourney tips and tricks helpful. Leave a comment again if you've used some of these players, and if you copy my lineup, that is fine. Just let me know how you do. I want more confirmation that it's a pretty good lineup to use. If you are not on Twitch, I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, where it's all OOTP for a couple hours every day. More tips and tricks and hint and chat with the people that are watching along as I go through my OOTP teams and tournaments. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, subscribe, leave a like, and of course a comment. It's a great day for baseball. We'll see you next episode. Thanks for tuning in.